Who's that? Oh, no. Yeah, they said ask Ethan. Because they asked Ethan. Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats. We are about to start the program. Please find your seat.
Sarah.
Okay, so
Sarah.
Ethan, Sarah ROS said before candlelighting or after?
After candlelighting, okay? No, we don't have it. I'm so sorry.
Please find your seats. We are waiting to start the program. Please find your seats. Please find your seats. Please find your seats. I just wanted to remind you. Please find your seats, ladies and gentlemen. We are officially late. I know, for Sephardic people, that's really unusual. Please find your seats. Whatever.
Like this? Hello? Please find your seats, everyone, so we can begin the program.
Let's return the lights.
Ladies and gentlemen, Madame et Messieurs, κυρίες και κύριοι, παρακαλούμε, please find your seats. We're ready to start.
Let's see. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Please find your seats. Good evening. Good evening. Please find your seats. Good evening. Good evening. Please find your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats and sit in them. Find your seats and please sit in them so we can begin. Huh? Sure. Please. Now I can't see you, but please sit down. It'd be great. David Ben Ezra, please sit down. I'm going to start calling people out. Nice. Okay, go for it.
Good evening. Welcome to the Sephardic Jewish Brotherhood of America Gala.
Do it again. Shh. Please find your seats so we can start. Everybody calm down. Shh. Relax. Shh.
Thank you, Simon. Good evening, and welcome everyone to the Sephardic Jewish Brotherhood of America Gala.
Woo!
My name is Miri Azos Tilson.
And my name is Simon Amiel, and we are thrilled to be your MCs for this evening. Thank you. We're going to start by thanking our sponsors. Please hold your applause. Sorry, I took your line. I know it's a big line. Go ahead, you do it.
It's going to be hard, but we're going to need you to hold it.
Yes.
Our diamond sponsors, the Starbucks Coffee Company,
Oh, good job following instructions. Nice work. Okay.
the Ike, Molly, and Stephen Elias Foundation, Martin Elias.
Our silver sponsors, American Sephardi Federation, Howard and Lynn Bihar, Joel and Maureen Ben-Olil, Joel and Laurel Marcus, the Julius Romo Rabinowitz family, the Maurice and Lena Russo Family Foundation, Sephardic Bikur Cholim Congregation of Seattle, and the Sephardic Temple of Cedarhurst.
Our bronze sponsors, Dr. Alan Matarasso, Arnold Rosenshine, Congregation Mikveh Israel of Philadelphia, David and Rachel Gatano, Eden Memorial Chapels, Harley and Leila Franco, the Benadrete family. The Jewish community of Rodez, Leon Levy and Associates, Shastone Memorials, the Seattle Sephardic Network, and the University of Washington Sephardic Studies program. Thank you all for your support this evening and for making tonight a reality.
Before we recognize the dignitaries in the audience, we wanted to say a few words of introduction.
Some of you might recall that Simon was the MC 2 years ago at this very gala. For this year, the organizers felt they needed a strong female presence, so they asked me to co-MC this year.
And what a presence Miri brings. She is the very first president of the Sephardic Bikur Cholim congregation.
Female president.
Yeah,
first
female.
president.
Sorry, not the first president. First female president. I didn't hear any gasps. Would anyone like to gasp? The first female president of Sephardic Bikur Cholim. What? A woman? She is a mom of 2 middle school boys. She is a full-time financial advisor, and she has been a change agent in the Seattle Sephardic community.
Thank you, Simon. I feel honored to bring a woman's perspective to this event. And
well, as you know, the female perspective has always been important at Sephardic gatherings. I know many of you here appreciated the perspective that the belly dancer brought in 2021. I think most of you were sitting over here so you could get the best perspective on the belly dancer. That was lovely.
Well, I left my costume at home tonight.
Oh, man.
So
Come on.
Thank you, I think.
Too bad.
Something else you might notice is the Seattle theme that runs through tonight's event. Both Simon and I are from Seattle, and all 3 of our honorees have strong ties to Seattle. In Yiddish, we call them landsmen. That's for my mother-in-law, who's Ashkenazic, and thankfully here with us tonight. In Ladino, we prefer to call them los hijos de casa, loosely translated as homeboys. That's
right. Rabbi Angel grew up in Seattle and references the unique nature of the Sephardic community often in his writings. Dr. Devanar is the Sephardic Studies Program Chair at the University of Washington. Go Huskies. And Howard Behar was not only born in Seattle, but served as the president of Starbucks. And if you don't know where Starbucks is based, you've been living under several mounds of coffee beans, I think, yeah.
We both deeply value the strong Sephardic identity that our community brews within its people. See what I did there?
Oh, good one, nice.
And we're delighted to share the stage with the honorees this evening.
And now for our dignitaries. Again, see if you can follow along this time. Please hold your applause until we're done at the end of the list. First, His Eminence, the Archbishop Elpidophorus, the Archbishop of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America.
Consul General Luis B. Siqueira, Consul General of Portugal in Newark. Benvenido. Chacham Bashi Gabriel Negrin, the Chief Rabbi of Athens.
Chacham Bashi Moises Chikurel, the Chief Rabbi of the Sephardic Community of Mexico City. Bienvenido. Rabbi Stephen Golden, Rabbi of the Sephardic Temple of Cedarhurst. Welcome, hello.
Chacham Yosef Azos, un hijo de casa, and also a cousin. Rabbi of Congregation of the Sephardic Congregation of West Hempstead. Chacham Yosef Zarnigian, Rabbi of Congregation Mikveh Israel in Philadelphia.
Rabbi Ilan Akoka, the Rabbi of the Sephardic Congregation of Fort Lee. Rabbi Benji Owen, un otro hijo de casa, head of school of the Seattle Hebrew Academy.
Rabbi Joshua Hershen, Rabbi of Congregation Or V'Shalom in Atlanta. Claudia Restis Breibart, President of the Jewish Community of Rodez.
David Lichi, President of the Sephardic Community of Mexico City. Mark Berkovich, President of the Congregation Avarachim in Portland, Oregon.
Marvin Marcus, President of Kehillah Kedosha Yanina in New York. Jeffrey Baija, President of the Sephardic Jewish Center of Canarsie.
Canarsie, there you go. Eli Gabay, uno más hijo de casa, President of Congregation Mikveh Israel of Philadelphia, and Council of Nicaragua for Pennsylvania. Isaac Mayo, President of the Sephardic Temple of Cedarhurst. Woo.
Dr. Joe Halio, President of the Sephardic Foundation on Aging.
Let's hear it for everybody. Let's hear it for all of our dignitaries. We apologies, really deepest apologies if we forgot anyone. If we did, please direct your anger and disappointment to Ethan Marcus, seated at table 20.
And now, please help us welcome Sadat Behar, the President of the Sephardic Jewish Brotherhood of America.
Thank you. Thank you. Mi queridos hermanos y hermanas, it's a great honor and privilege to be with you tonight. We are in the company of our great honorees, National Central Council, executive committee members, members of the Sephardic Brotherhood of America, and valuable guests from around the world. It's amazing to see the continuous chain of tradition and values extended to this day. Pujados que no amenguados. May we always be growing and never diminishing. A little bit about myself. First, you might be wondering why this guy with an Egyptian name from Turkey is talking to you as the president of Sephardic Brotherhood. I was born Yeshua Salvatore Behar, same name as my grandfather. Custom was to give the Hebrew name and the Ladino equivalent to the newborn. However, since I experienced some difficulty with the wider public early on, my parents decided to swap the Ladino name with the popular Turkish name at the time, Sedat. My close relatives still call me Salvo. I was born and raised in Istanbul, Turkey, just like many of our community's original founders, who also came from Salonika, Bulgaria, Izmir, Corfu, Gelibolu, Rhodos, Tekirdağ, Edirne, to the United States. Some of my childhood friends that I grew up with in Istanbul are here with us today. I grew up in a Ladino-speaking household that saw the rapid societal changes in Turkey and around the world in the 80s and 90s. With support from our Jewish community and school in Istanbul, I attended Brandeis University with a scholarship. After school, as first-generation immigrants, my wife, Bashak Rebecca Behar, and I settled in Tenafly, New Jersey, and we're grateful to have two beautiful children, Mark and Olivia. I've always been involved in the community affairs in Sephardic Turkey. However, a few years ago, when I passed a certain age, I decided to get more involved in the States as well. The Sephardic Jewish Brotherhood of America was where I found this great opportunity. When I first joined the Brotherhood as a Central Council member, I knew that I was in the right place. Although I didn't know anyone, I knew all their last names. Behar, Angel, Barokas, Ben Ezra, El Hadef, Toledo, Halio. It was a clear indication that this was home and it was the right opportunity to serve and give back to my community. As with many cultural, communal, and religious organizations, these are challenging times where there are many competitors that target our time and attention. Growing up on the Asian side of Istanbul, we were privileged to have a synagogue adjacent to the Jewish Youth Club, and we would spend our time blissfully between them. Today, we are spread across greater distances and are constantly interrupted with social media and notifications on our phones. I believe it has become imperative to introduce meaningful programs and gatherings using technology and social media tools, along with in-person events, such as this lovely evening with our Sephardic community. That is why we have rapidly increased our in-person virtual events and programming on a national scale, especially after COVID, catering to the unique needs of our community as we grow. With the help of Larry Ben Sr. and the Strategic Planning Committee, we were able to announce a national strategic plan, the first in our 108-year history. This initiative outlines 6 major goals that will ensure our community will thrive well into the 21st century. Growing our membership base and ensuring its diversity, providing quality Sephardic education and programming, be a center for information exchange and support, provide mutual and fraternal aid, be financially sound, and provide effective, efficient governance. With our members, friends, and leadership, I have no doubt that we'll be able to achieve these goals. In the light of the horrific events that took place on October 7th, there is a greater awakening in the Jewish psyche and a more pronounced sense of belonging and sticking more closely to each other and our values. Although we briefly had some negative thoughts about this gala and lack of participation, seeing this beautiful crowd come together shows our strength, solidarity, and dedication, which invigorates me. and makes, thank you. Thank you. And makes me hopeful for the future of our Sephardic community and the Jewish people as a whole. We are all praying for the swift and long-term resolution of this conflict, for the return of our brothers and sisters held hostage, and for shalom, peace. As I conclude, I would like to thank you again for your continued support, especially in these turbulent times. I would also like to remember our past President Emeritus, Irving Barokas, Zichrono Livracha, de Bendicho Memoria, at this time. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Wishing you guys salud y beracha para todos. Amen. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Sadat. Thank you so much for your leadership and your ongoing commitment to Sephardic life.
Now, please give a warm welcome to His Eminence, Archbishop Elpidophoros, the Archbishop of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America, to bring greetings.
Kalispera, iyi akşamlar. Good evening, everybody. I feel so much at home here with you, seeing tables named Gelibolu, Izmir, Istanbul, Athens. It's really my home, my environment. My dear friends, I'm honored to offer these few remarks on behalf of the Greek Orthodox people of America to congratulate this evening's honorees and to state with boldness, the support of our church for all our friends in the Jewish community. The Sephardic Jewish community and our Romaniotes brethren are especially dear to all Greeks, for we share a history that spans millennia. And to be gathered together here in the Museum of the Jewish Heritage, the memorial to the Holocaust for New York and beyond, is deeply moving for me personally, especially as I prepare to go to Thessaloniki this January, next month, to speak at the National Day of Remembrance of the Greek heroes of the Holocaust. The Jewish and the Hellenic communities share an unbreakable bond. And I want to take this opportunity to say in no uncertain terms that we will never forget and we will never relent in the battle to overcome anti-Semitism in whatever guise it presents. We have been with you. We have been with you in our shared past. We are with you now, and we will always be with you. We are, thank you. We are all children of one Father, and for all our individuality, there is a profound, shared, and precious ancestry. Therefore, knowing that our evening is substantial, I will make use of that most Hellenic quality, to be laconic. Laconic means brief. And make an end of my remarks. But know this, my dear brothers and sisters, there will never be an end to our unity, never be an end to our friendship, our solidarity, and our steadfast championship of justice, peace, and the well-being of the Jewish people and their homeland, Israel. Ευχαριστώ. Teşekkür ederim. Thank you. Thank you for the honor to be in your company this evening and to speak from my heart. May God, in His infinite mercy, bless us all. Enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Your Eminence, for your show of support and kinship and in being here with us this evening. It's really a remarkable honor to have you here. We are all painfully aware of the atrocities that occurred on October 7th in Israel and the subsequent and ongoing anti-Semitic attacks that have taken place against the Jewish community since then. Tonight, we memorialize those who lost their lives, as well as past leaders we have lost.
Rabbi Negrin will lead a prayer for the victims of the October 7th massacre. Rabbi Chikurel will lead a prayer for the hostages, and Rabbi Yossi Azos will char hashkavah for past President Irving Barocas.
Lighting candles tonight will be David and Rachel Gatenio, Archbishop Elpidophorus, Dr. Alan Matarasso, David Lichi, Leon and Fern Levy, and Ellen and Karen Barocas for Irving Barocas. If the rabbis and the candlelighters can please come up front.
Ashreis yareth Adonai b'mitzvotav chafetz meod tov Shem mishemen tov yom hamavet mimo mivaldo מנוחה נכונה בשיבה עליונה במעלת קדושים וטהורים כזוהר רקיע מאירים ומצעירים וחילות עצמים וחברת אשמים והרחקת פשע והכרה והקרבת ישע וחמלה וחנינה מלפני שוכן מעונה וחולקת טובה לחיי עולם הבא שמתם מנת ומחיצת בשיבת נשמות אחינו הטהורים והגיבורים שנפלו ונשפך דמם על ידי ארגוני הטרור ועוזריהם רוח אדוני תניחנן בגן עדן המלך ברחמיו ירחם עליהם. Happy is the man who fears Adonai, who delights greatly in his commandments. A good name is better than a good oil, and the day of one's death is better than the day of his birth. May there be proper rest in an abode on high under the wings of divine presence, on the level with the holy and the pure, who like the radiance of firmament illuminate and shine, strengthening of the self, forgiveness of transgression, distressing of sin, dwelling near the salvation, compassion and grace, for before him who dwells on high, and a good share in the life of the world to come, there shall be the portion of the location of and the dwelling of their souls, of the ones who murdered under the attack of the terrorists. May the Spirit of God place them in Gan Eden. May the King in his mercy have compassion on them. Amen.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון והמלך דוד והמלך שלמה, הוא יברך וישמור וינצור את השבויים בתוך שערינו, בית ישראל הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, בעבור שהקהל מתפלל בעבורם, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, ויוציאם מחושך וצל מוות, ומסורותיהם ינתק, וממצוקותיהם יושיעם, ויושיבם מהרה לחיק משפחותיהם. יודו לאדוני חסדו ונפלאותיו לבני אדם, ויקוים בהם מקרא שכתוב, פדויי אדוני ישובון ובאות ציון ברינה, ושמחת עולם על ראשם ששון ושמחה ישיגו, ונשאו יגון ואנחה, ונאמר Amen. The one who blessed our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aharon, David, Ushlomo, may he bless and safeguard and preserve the Israeli hostages among their brethren in their house of Israel in trouble and captivity. In the merit of the prayers of this holy assemblage who pray for them, may the Holy One, blessed be he, shower compassion over them and deliver them from darkness and strife. Remove their bondage, deliver them from their afflictions, and return them speedily to their families. Amen. Let them give thanks to Hashem for his loving kindness and for his miracles to the children of Adam, and establish for them that what was written, and the ransomed of Hashem shall return and come with the singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their heads. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. And let us say, Amen.
אשרי האיש ירא אדוני, במצוותיו חפץ מאוד. טוב שם משמן טוב ביום המוות, מיום היוולדו. מנוחה נכונה בישיבה עליונה, במעלת קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע, מאירים ומזרים וחילוץ עצמים וכפרת אשמים, והרחקת פשע והקבת ישע, וחמלה וחנינה מנפתץ ושוכן מעונה, וכולה כתבה לחיי העולם הבא. שם תמנת ובחיצת וישיבת השם, נפש השם הטוב, יצחק בן יעקב ברוקס, רוח אדוני תניחנו בגן עדן, המלך ברחמיו ירחם עליו. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון ולוי ושלמה, הוא יברך את משפחתו, מה שהם נדיבים, מתנת ידם שמן למאור, בעד הנזכר, שתהא מנוחתו בגן עדן. מנוחתו בגן עדן.
Thank you, everybody. Menuchatam began Eden. If we can ask everyone to find their seats. Chazakim uvruchim. And please welcome the Gala Committee Chair, Lexi Fellis, to the stage. Sorry. Lexi, we're going to pause Lexi, and Sarah Aroeste is going to join us on stage and will be helping with a special version of the Hatikvah. Shh.
Fiestaremos juntos, gloriosos, el día de hoy con gozo. Día alegre es nombrado, con placer de judíos es membrado. Este día es alegría, nos recuerda la mancilla de ver a los judíos sufriendo y a la fin salvación ya tuvieron. Dos mil años de tan desgracia sin poder reposar y su sueño arrastrando mil y un lugar sin tener un lugar para reposar. Alzaremos la bandera por amor de nuestra tierra, con sudor de judíos arrufiadas, con rosas y cunjas sembradas, con sudor de judíos arrufiadas, con rosas y cunjas sembradas.
Thank you, Sarah, for that beautiful rendition of Hatikvah. Thank you to our honored guests and distinguished rabbis for leading us in commemoration of those brutally murdered on October 7th, and to the Barocas family, honoring lifelong Sephardic Brotherhood member and president, our dear friend, Irv Barocas. Que sus almas reposen en Gan Eden. We continue to pray for the immediate release of our hostages in captivity. May the light of our candles illuminate their path home. Anne Frank, taught us to see how a single candle can both defy and define the darkness. Over the past several months, we have experienced an outpouring of hatred and anti-Semitism while struggling to process our trauma. Darkness has very clearly been defined. But as we emerge from the light of Hanukkah, we have shown how we can defy the darkness. And tonight, we can continue to defy the darkness by celebrating our rich Sephardic community, history, and culture. Our Sephardic ancestors faced many difficult tests that threatened to extinguish the light of our people, to challenge our religion, the use of our language, and to take our livelihood. But we persevered. We made new lives in far-off places, and we recreated a new generation of Sephardic life, as evidenced here today. Tonight is a testament to what we have built, and I'm grateful to be this year's Gala chair and proud member of this Sephardic community. For those I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Lexi Fellis. My journey to this evening started with a pandemic silver lining. Sitting in minus 20 degrees Celsius Toronto winter weather, I took Ladino classes offered through the Brotherhood's Digital Academy with my mother, Miriam. This exposed me to the Brotherhood's community and programming. And as a current Central Council member, I'm proud to be editor-in-chief of our community magazine, the only printed Ladino original content in North America, which will go digital in the new year. I would like to thank the Sephardic Brotherhood Central Council for entrusting me with the great honor of chairing this evening. I know that my great-grandparents, who came from Rhodes and the former Ottoman Empire cities of Aydin and Milas, through the Congo and to South Africa, are shining down on me this evening, as are all of our ancestors, as we come from all corners of the world to celebrate our unique Sephardic heritage. A special thank you to Ethan Marcus. Where's Ethan? Ethan is the heart and soul of this organization. He works tirelessly and with great passion to elevate, modernize, and push forward the Brotherhood's vision towards our bright future. One more round of applause for Ethan, everyone. And with that, I'd like to introduce a short video presentation featuring our incredible young leaders, some of which are here tonight. Thank you.
My Sephardic identity gives me a sense of pride, belonging, family, and community. It has helped me form so many friendships and relationships from birth all the way through college and even in my life today. I'm so grateful that the Sephardic Brotherhood has instilled in me this sense of community throughout my entire life.
My Sephardic identity means to me the connection that I have between my family and their roots in Greece. It's something that my cousins and I all have in common that bring us together and reminds us of where we come from and how blessed we are to be here today.
To me, my Sephardic identity means engaging in the modern world and all of its challenges and beauty and opportunity, while also being deeply steeped in my rich history, traditions, and religion that I carry with me from generations before.
My Sephardic identity is who I am and where I'm going, and I'm grateful to be in this community so we can keep it alive because it's not a legacy of the past, but it's a living legacy. I'm a proud Jew, and most importantly, a proud Sephardic Jew.
To me, my Sephardic identity means that I have a connection with so many different people and a rich culture. Also, it just has given me so many opportunities to be able to share my roots with other people, so that has been really special.
It's like my family and me and my heritage, like it all boils down to me and like what I am.
Borekas, by far, that's been my favorite for the longest time.
Obviously, Borekas. I also really like dulce. My Nona Lena made the best apple dulce.
My favorite Sephardic food are Borekas, specifically the ones that my grandmother makes. And I happen to like the spinach and cheese variety, but to each their own.
What's my favorite Sephardic food? Can I answer with Rocky?
My favorite Sephardic food is borekas, and probably mushroom borekas is my favorite flavor.
Borekas.
In one word, what does the next generation of Sephardic life look like? I go with pride.
When I think about the next Sephardic generation, I envision a return of many young Sephardic Jews to Castoria and regrowing a community there with the new museum and other things like that.
Commitment, and that means commitment to our values, to our history, and to our heritage.
I'm so hopeful for all of our future generations. We have young, amazing people that are very well educated, that want to learn, that want to explore, that want to be able to teach all of the other people, regardless of whether it's in the United States or internationally. They want to be able to get to know all these people and show what an amazing culture we are, what an amazing group of Jewish community we are. And hopefully at some point, by getting to understand and know people, we can hopefully bring about peace and then really acceptance within not only the Jewish community, but within the whole entire world.
One word I would use to describe the next generation of the Sephardic Brotherhood is influential. Because we plan to influence other people to join and influence people to connect with their Sephardic identity.
If we don't make our identity a priority, it's not going to continue. So this brotherhood, specifically the Young Professional Organization, has instilled in all of us the significance of being a proud Sephardic Jew. And whether it be through classes, through trips, Shabbat dinners, learning about Sephardic tefillot, Sephardic songs, the next generation is going to be alive. And I thank you all for being a part of it. And I look forward to what the future holds.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Judah Roberts, and I'm a proud second-generation Sephardic Brotherhood member. I'm thrilled to announce the newest Sephardic Brotherhood initiative, the Ladino High School Club of America. The Ladino High School Club of America is so happy to be here tonight. We're a group of teens trying to revive Ladino and reclaim our rich Sephardic heritage. Tonight, we will be singing 3 Ladino songs for you. One is liturgical, one is about love, and one is about liquor. I hope you enjoy our performance tonight and feel free to sing along. If you have teenage sons, daughters, children who are interested in Sephardic traditions, you can learn more at bivas.org. And now please enjoy the show.
Cuando Nimrod al caposalía miraba en el cielo, en la estrella, ídolo santo en la judería que había de nacer Abraham Avinu. de tierra quiero preñada, de día en día me quedará. Mira lo santo en la judería, que vía de que te tenía.
aquí, no puedo yo dejarlo, debe nunca me harté de tanto amarlo. Aquí no puedo yo dejarlo, debe nunca me harté de tanto amar. Cuando está en el barril, él no habla del todo. Cuando me hago yo candil, hago baños de lodo. Por el raquí puedo yo dejarlo, de bebé nunca me harté y de tanta amar. Me siento yo y yo varón, me siento yo primario, sin tener liras al cachón, me siento millonario. La vida do por él, no puedo
Bravo, yay!
Wow, wow. Wasn't that great? Wait, let's have another round. This is it. Our Latino singers, our Latino Letterman, our Latino Beach Boys. Here we go. This is like a Shekianu. I never thought we'd have an answer to the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, but here it is, our Latino people. My name is Joel Marcus. I'm a proud second-generation Brotherhood member. And you saw from these kids, the Brotherhood is working hard to build the next Sephardic generation in America through our youth programs. This year, we distributed $40,000 to 20 worthy, outstanding Sephardic students in our community. Some of them are here tonight. Our Sephardic Youth Professional Network has been hosting countless Shabbat dinners. They have holiday parties, learning opportunities, a first ever tour of Jewish Turkey, and next year, a tour of Greece, the Jewish Greece, the annual Sephardic Birthright trips to Israel, and the Sephardic Adventure Camp. The future of the Sephardic Brotherhood is in investing in the next generation to ensure our traditions, our language, and our culture not only continue to be celebrated, but continue to thrive. Tonight, you are all part of that legacy. This is the part I said, I have to say this? Yes, I'm going to ask you to do more. On your tables, you will see some pledge cards, and you will find the pledge cards and pens, so you don't have an excuse. Anybody who makes a pledge, by the way, everybody has different circumstances, a little, a lot. Even if it's a small amount, the fact that we can see that there's an additional amount shows a commitment to the organization, and we appreciate any amount. And anybody who gives any amount can keep that pen. Take it home, you know. I'm also proud. My partner is a trustee of the Sonia J Estate. I'm the assistant executor, and we are pledging $10,000 to the Sephardic Jewish Brotherhood. So, everyone, take a minute or two, give us something, even if it's $18. We just want to see that we'll see how many people here, in addition to the contributions you've already done, and we thank you, but a little bit more because we have an important mission, and the mission is continuity. And the continuity, it comes from all of you, and you're all to be blessed for this. And I like the last song, because it was a drinking song, and I promised Ethan I wouldn't drink until I finished this speech, and I'm going right to the bar. Thank you, everybody. Hoopa.
Thank you, Joel. I'm going to be less genteel. You saw the future of organized Sephardic Jewish life. If you went out to Seattle in the summer, you would see it at camp. If you talk to each of these kids, you see how important it is. Joel said, well, give now, please, for the future of Sephardic life. Get that envelope. Everybody take a pen, give something, and put pressure on everyone else at the table to give. Let's go. We're all family. Let's support each other. So we'll take a minute, and then we'll go over the rest of the evening. Can we hear a quick, another La Vida Do por el Raki while the people are giving? You must give us all of your money, put it in the envelope. Don't worry, it will come back to you with lots of mitzvot. Don't be so shy, pull out your checkbook. Don't be a nudnik or a schnook. Just give us your money, it will help us get really Sephardic together. Okay, everybody. All right, good, thank you. We want to thank all of you for your generosity. We have a great program, so stick around. Don't forget, we have a silent auction on the second floor. There's some great items to bid on, like private cooking class with Chef Susan Barocas, a private Ladino class with Dr. Brian Kirshen,
Bridge Turkish Mediterranean Grill in Highland Park, New Jersey, and a signed copy of Stella's Sephardic Table Cookbook.
Okay.
Enjoy dinner. And
Enjoy,
we'll see you
everyone.
soon.
For those who would like, there will be a Arvit Minyan now in the atrium here on the second floor. Arvit Minyan for those who would like over here in the atrium on the second floor.
Yeah, take a break.
Guys, table number 30 in the corner. Go now. Now.
Sorry. You basically covered her entire silhouette. And I was like, where's the cadence? late.
We are running very late.
We are running late, so we have to start the program.
Welcome, everyone. We're running a little late, so we decided to begin the program again while you're eating dinner.
Try not to be so Sephardic about eating dinner. Like, try to do it quietly.
Hope
Can you do
don't
that?
mind.
Yeah.
Con bueno. Okay, so Simon, how are you feeling?
I am feeling strangely Greek. I'm not sure why exactly, but I am feeling definitely Greek.
Huh. Funny you should say that. Me too. Let's keep an eye on it and see what happens.
Okay, let's see what happens. All right. Well, now is the moment we've been waiting for, tonight's honorees.
Our first honoree this evening will be introduced by 2021 honoree, another cousin of mine, Albert Myman. Please welcome Al to the stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Lifetime Community Service Award is given to a senior individual who has dedicated themselves in the service of the Sephardic community in the United States through their generosity of time, financial resources, spiritual guidance, and/or educational expertise. I was honored to receive this award at the 2021 Gala, and am so much more honored this evening to pass the torch to the next recipient. Born and raised in the Seattle Sephardic community, my cousin, through sharing 3 aunts, and who I've admired for over 6 decades, his lifetime of service as the Sephardic congregation's rabbi, and dedicated decades writing and advocating for Sephardic traditions, Torah-based values. Rabbi Mark D. Angel is this year's recipient of this prestigious award. As a grandchild of Jewish immigrants from the island of Rhodes, what is today modern Turkey, and don't say, where's the Greek man? No, and what is today modern Turkey, he came to New York for his higher education at Yeshiva University, where he earned his PhD and rabbinic ordination. Rabbi Angel is a founder and director of the Institute of Jewish Ideas and Ideals, fostering an intellectually vibrant, compassionate, and inclusive Orthodox Judaism. He's Rabbi Emeritus of the historic Congregation She'edit Israel, the Spanish and Portuguese synagogue in New York, where he began serving in 1969. Author and editor of 38 books, he has written and lectured extensively on various aspects of Jewish law, history, and culture. He continues to teach classes on Sephardic Chachamim, Sephardic history, Torah perspectives, and much more, including through the Sephardic Digital Academy. He is what we call a true Talmid Chacham, and may he continue to serve our community in his unique and compelling ways. Hasta 120 con vida y salud. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Mark Angel. Okay, I think this is a photo op. I'm not sure. Okay, stand over there.
Thank you very much, Al, and Ethan, and all of the officers of the Sephardic Brotherhood, and all the wonderful people who came from near and far. Thank you, really wonderful show, all from the old country of Seattle, Portland, Philadelphia, Miami, all over. Mashallah, as we say. Beautiful. Well, it's been a great pleasure working for many, many years in the Sephardic community, and I'd like to start with a Johah story, my favorite character. One time, Johah was out in the garden looking for his keys. So his wife comes and says, Johah, what are you looking for? I lost my keys. Where did you lose them? I lost them in the house. If you lost them in the house, why are you looking in the yard? He said, the sunlight's much better out here. It's too dark in the house. Like much wisdom, like many humorous things, there's wisdom in it. What is the wisdom? If you look in the wrong place, you're not going to find the keys. If you want to find the keys, you have to know where to look. Tonight we're celebrating the Sephardic tradition, and what are we looking for? What are the keys we're looking for? We want to be strong, healthy, spiritually healthy, physically healthy. We want a community of peace, a community of happiness, vibrancy, religiosity. We want all those things. But it's so easy to fall for illusions, to find the wrong direction, not to look for the keys in the right place. So I want to talk a little bit about where I found some keys. The first place I found the keys is in the past. We talk about the Sephardic heritage. I spent many years of my life researching, writing, lots of books, lots of articles. I learned a lot from it. But I want to tell you two very small anecdotes about my Papu Romi, my grandfather Romi, Marco Romi, Alav Shalom. I was named after him, Mordechai Marco. He was my mother's father, came from Tekirda. My grandfather came from Tekirda with no formal education, certainly no money. He became a barber. If you looked at him from the outside, he was an immigrant who spoke English poorly, was certainly not affluent. He would look like a person who was, in the bottom rungs of society. But if you look in my grandfather's head, he was a prince of Israel. He saw himself as a descendant of Sephardic Jews who came from antiquity, from the Judean aristocracy who were exiled to Spain. My Papu Romi carried himself with great dignity. He was a simple barber, but he was a great man. We used to walk on Shabbat afternoon sometimes. I'm an Ezra B'Sereth person, but my mother's family, my Papu Romi, were Bikur Cholim people. We shared both congregations. So sometimes on Shabbat afternoon, I would be with my Nonan Papu in 15th Avenue in the old neighborhood, and he would walk to the Sephardic Bikur Cholim on 20th and Fur. On the way there was a corner and an empty lot. And there was a diagonal dirt path across the way. I said, Papu, let's walk across this path. We'll save a few steps. Papu said, we don't walk on dirt paths. We walk on Derech HaMelech. We go the King's Highway. Dignity, poise, competence. My grandfather was one person who knew who he was. And that was a great gift. That was a great key. Every Friday night after Shabbat dinner, Papu Romi would sit in his dining room near the window on a table, card table, with a glass of hot tea, piping hot tea, with 4 spoons of sugar. He needed false teeth, actually. We know why. It's a Turkish style. He liked a lot of sugar. And he would read the Parsha of the week, every week without fail. I remember as a little boy seeing my Papu studying Torah, which was the center of his life. Those are keys. That's where to look. But if you want to just look at the past, you're not going to find everything. You have to look at the present. So I was a rabbi of a great congregation. I worked with my son, Chaim, Rabbi Chaim Angel, in our institute. And we've met so many wonderful people, dedicated people, fine people, proud Jews who work, who sacrifice, who believe in what they're doing. You look at the keys of values and ideals, you look in the eyes of great people. And then that's not enough either. You have to look at the keys of the future. We're celebrating the Sephardic heritage, Sephardic tradition. What are our great-great-grandchildren 100 years from now going to care about Sephardic tradition? It's going to be a post-ethnic Judaism in those days. We're all mixed up, already mixed up. We're going to be 100 years from now, we're all going to be mixed up. Sephardim, Ashkenazim, Italians, Yemenites. What's it going to mean 100 years from now? It's only going to mean something if we invest in proper values now. If we believe in our traditions and fulfill our traditions, then those traditions live. Unless they live vibrantly, the whole thing will dissipate. I'm an optimist. We all know that we're living in difficult times. But I believe unquestionably in the future of the people, just as I believe in our past. We have a great tradition in the past with great keys to living a better life. We have great people today who have keys to values, ideals, religious tradition that are alive. And way down in the future, we think we're going to have another dinner then with all of our descendants, strong, proud Jews, proud human beings. I'd like to close my speeches with a quotation from the prophet Amos, one of my favorite quotations. Behold, the days are coming, said the Lord, and I will bring a famine on the earth, not a famine of bread, not a thirst for water, but to hear the words of the Lord. Amen, ken yeh ratzon. Those days will come surely as we're here tonight. The future keys are waiting for us. Thank you again. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Rabbi Angel, for your sage words this evening, and Mazal Tov on a well-deserved award.
Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this Greek feeling thing getting stronger?
I think so. I'm feeling very swarthy.
Swarthy. That's
Yes.
exactly how I'm feeling. Swarthy. Anyhow, on to our next honoree, introduced by 2021 honoree Sarah Aroesti.
Hello, hello. The Young Leadership Award is given to a rising star or young individual in our community who has impacted Sephardic life in new and innovative ways. This individual should work to empower Jewish youth and young people to reconnect with their Sephardic identity and to develop creative outlets for Sephardim in the 21st century. As the recipient of the 2021 Young Leadership Award, it is my pleasure to introduce this year's recipient, Dr. Devin E. Nahr. Through his work, there's more. I have to give some kavod. Through his work as a professor, scholar, activist, and author in the field of Sephardic studies, Dr. Nahr has been one of the leading voices for Sephardim in the world. He credits much of his interest in Ladino language and Sephardic history to the time spent with his great uncle, an immigrant from the Jewish community of Salonika. Dr. Nahr was born in Princeton, New Jersey, as was I. We sometimes joke that there must have been something in the water there to have produced the two of us so committed to preserving our Sephardic heritage. Who knew? Princeton, New Jersey. It should also be noted that Dr. Nahr grew up as a member of the Eitz Achaim Sephardic congregation of Highland Park, one of the Sephardic Brotherhood's original synagogues. He has served as the inaugural Isaac Al-Hadaf Professor in Sephardic Studies and Associate Professor of Jewish Studies and History at the University of Washington in Seattle for the last 10 years, where he founded and directs the Sephardic Studies program. He has served as a Fulbright Scholar in Salonika, Greece, and his first book, Jewish Salonika, Between the Ottoman Empire and Modern Greece, received a National Jewish Book Award in 2016. More than just a brilliant scholar, Dr. Nahr has been a leading voice for elevating the Sephardic community's profile globally and empowering the next generation. He is a proud 5th-generation member of the Sephardic Jewish Brotherhood of America and exemplifies what it means to be a leader in the Sephardic world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend and this year's Young Leadership Award recipient, Dr. Devin E. Nahr.
Kalispera sas, Iak Shamlar, buenas tardes, que haber. Todo bueno, merci mucho. It's really a great pleasure and honor for me to be here this evening with you all and to share the awards with Chacham Angel and Howard Bihar and really good Seattle representation here. I'm very grateful to the Sephardic Brotherhood and to all the dignitaries that are gathered here, and special thanks to Ethan for making tonight's gala a real possibility and all of his team. I am a fifth-generation member of the Sephardic Brotherhood, even though I'm only second generation born in the United States. My paternal family arrived from Salonika 99 years ago. Is there anybody else who has Salonika roots? All right, great. That was 1924, and some of them arrived partly skirting the immigration laws of the era. And one of the first things that they did was that they joined the Hermandad, the Sephardic Brotherhood. And if you fast forward 70 years to my bar mitzvah in New Jersey, my nono, Yisrael Binyamin Nar, I have his Hebrew name, Yisrael, Isidore, in his bar mitzvah speech, which I found for tonight's occasion, a copy of it, he told me the following. So this is like almost 30 years ago. And now imagine a man, a bald man, a little bit like this high, kind of like a Salonican Hamal, a stevedore, a strong man, darker complected. I want you to know and understand, that you come from a unique rabbinical ancestry. Your great-grandfather, Chacham Binyamin Nar, was the first Sephardic rabbi in New Jersey. Looking at my cousins here, they're already getting emotional. He led many people with their Sephardic customs, prayer, and heartwarming songs. Many of the family originally came from Salonika. The Nar family was and is always involved in community activities, and I hope you will follow in their footsteps. Devin, I remember him saying that. Do not break the Nar family tradition. Be active. Get involved in your community. They need you. No pressure, okay. Over the last decades, I have done my utmost to try to fulfill Nono's expectations. Not only to know the information about what is Sephardic, define it, but to try to understand what is the meaning of my Sephardic heritage, and to uphold the family tradition of community engagement. And that is a tradition that goes back in the American context right here to the Brotherhood, where my great-grandfather served as one of the first Chachamim of the Sephardic Brotherhood's synagogue in Harlem before being the rabbi at the Brotherhood branch in New Jersey, and subsequently the first ordained rabbi of Congregation Etz Chaim in New Brunswick, and subsequently Highland Park, New Jersey. And people wondering, why did our own people need their own organizations? Weren't there other Jewish organizations around? Well, they had some difficulty coming to the United States, especially encountering what we might say is the dominant gaze of the Ashkenazi Jewish establishment. Probably you're familiar with something, if you've ever heard anything like this before. Wait, how could you be Jewish when you look like a Greek and you gesticulate like an Italian and you lived among Muslims and you speak Spanish and not a lick of Yiddish and you pronounce Hebrew wrong and you have never even seen gefilte fish in your entire life? The Brotherhood distinguished itself from the other dozens of Sephardic organizations that operated in the early part of the 20th century. One of the things that they did was they eventually welcomed members from any locale, not only the Saloniklis, but folks from all over. And they embraced not only mutual aid and burial benefits, but also religious life, culture, and education. They had an annual Ladino magazine, El Hermanado, which has been revitalized. They had a student writing competition, which we are re-inaugurating this year. They had public forums on pressing political issues of the day, which we won't talk about right now. Members contributed to Ladino newspapers, especially La Vara. They contributed to the Ladino theater, and they contributed to the first Sephardic Studies program at Columbia University. For my family, community engagement has been a multi-generational affair, and I cannot thank my relatives who have joined me here this evening for helping to instill in me a deep commitment to and curiosity about our heritage, and I wish there were many of the older generation with us. I would just mention a few. My great-uncle Raphael, Uncle Bob Fayes, was the Chazan of Etz Chaim and the Brotherhood representative for 50 years. My cousin Morris Ayash managed the Brotherhood burial plot in New Brunswick for a very long time. My great-uncle Jack and Aunt Frances Narr were among the founders of the Sephardic Temple in Cedarhurst, Long Island. My Uncle Leon and Aunt Git were the first ones that gave me access to Ladino documents from my great-grandfather's library, and the list goes on. Over the years, I've tried to carry on the family tradition of engagement through research, writing, and public speaking, and most recently, collaborating with my father, Chaim Harry, who's a painter who created a series of provocative images, echoes of Sephardic Salonika. In Seattle, I've collaborated with one of the most active Sephardic communities in the United States to build the country's premier Sephardic Studies program. We've assembled and digitized more Ladino books than Harvard or the Library of Congress. We have the first and only full-time professor in the country who's dedicated to teaching Ladino, and that's not me. We have another faculty member. We had 600 participants at our recent Ladino Day. We trained PhD students and organized conferences and digital exhibitions. The Seattle environment also seemed fitting for me and my spouse, Andrea, to embark upon an unusual experiment, to try to speak to our children, Vidal, who's 8, Chaim, named after his nono, my father, and Ezra, who is 5, and we've tried to speak to them in Ladino. My desire for our children, and by the way, it's hard to speak in your kids it's not my lingua madre, it's my lingua nonna. It's my grandmother language, my grandparent language. Our desire has been for our children to know and to understand that Ladino and learning Ladino is an act of love. Love for those who came before us, who sacrificed so much to try to make it in America and had to forsake their language and their culture along the way. We want our children to understand that Ladino is a Jewish language, that it is a Spanish language, that it is a language that's thrived in the Muslim world. It is a language that builds bridges, something we need now more than ever before. Like my mother, Barbara, who's here with me, my spouse Andrea, they are Ashkenaziyas. But both of them, Nona and Mamika, have been incredibly supportive, real allies, real defenders against Ashkenormativity. Yeah, all right. Ladino is also a language that reminds us of our multi-rootedness as Sephardim. We're linked not just to one spot, but we have roots across the world, to Eretz Yisrael, to Sepharad, to Spain and Portugal, to Turkey, to Greece, to Bulgaria, the list goes on, North Africa, throughout Europe, the Americas, specific locales like Salonika, Rhodes, Izmir. Our multi-rootedness as Sephardic Jews is an asset, a source of our strength, vitality, and flexibility. One of my roots, my Sephardic roots, is in fact in New Jersey, because it's in the Sephardic Brotherhood plot in New Jersey where I can go, and it is the only place in the world where my people are literally in the ground. And I can go there, and I can visit them, I can make ziyarah, and I can speak with them Among the Sephardim, we say the cemetery is the Bet HaChaim, the house of the life. It is the interstices between the world of those who have gone before us and of the present. And it becomes a place of inspiration, a place of reflection, and a place of life. We are at a crossroads today as a Sephardic community in the United States and worldwide, as a Jewish community, as Americans, as citizens of the world. We can turn to our teachings for inspiration and for guidance, especially as a new generation, an energetic generation, becomes more involved in the hermandad and the brotherhood and reconnects to some of the vision of the founders. There's a Ladino refrán, a proverb that states, entre la posibilidad y la realidad, puedes examinar el camino de verdad. There's the world that we would like to bring into existence, the world of possibility, the world of dreams, which is related to the parashah this past week. We may not be able to achieve all of our dreams, but we can strive for them. And then there is the world of reality, how things are as they appear. What this refrain teaches us, I think, is that we need to pursue the path in between, the path between the ideal and the real, striving for our dreams while never being contained merely with what is. That is the pathway of la vedra, of truth. That is the pathway I have sought to pursue as I fulfill Nono's wish for me that I both know and understand my heritage. It is an ongoing and still incomplete process. And it is also a path I see the Brotherhood now seeking to reinvigorate. It is up to each of us, each and every one of us, to know and to understand, to provide our own interpretations, to invest our own sense of meaning in Sephardic belonging, in Sephardic identity, to invest our Sephardic Jewishness with possibility, with power, now and into the future. That is the Camino de la Vedra, the true path. Thank you.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you, Devin, for your leadership in enriching and spreading both knowledge and pride of Sephardic Jewish life.
Wow. I don't know about you, Simon, but I feel like I'm getting a fever.
Ah, adiobre?
A Greek fever. And the only cure is another honoree.
Oh, good.
Please welcome to the stage Sarah Trilling, Starbucks Executive Vice President and President of North
I bet you've never been introduced like this before, Sarah. Okay.
America, to introduce our final honoree.
Okay.
Never before, but I loved it. Good evening. The Service to Humanity Award is given to an individual who has contributed to society and the world in extraordinary ways through impacts in culture and philanthropy or business, elevating our collective Sephardic community's profile and status in the process. The Gala Selection Committee could think of no better individual more deserving of this honor than Howard Behar, the founding president of Starbucks Coffee Company International and Starbucks North America. Born and raised in both the Seattle Sephardic and Ashkenazi communities, his father originally hailed from a tiny Sephardic community of, wait for it, I'm going to slaughter the pronunciation, Stenemeka, today called Asana Gravad, later moving to the cities of Plovdiv and Sofia, both located today in modern-day Bulgaria. An entrepreneur and savvy businessman since his youth, he accredits much of his professional success to the values he learned from his parents, growing up and working at their small store as a child in Seattle's University District. In the year he joined Starbucks, the company had just begun to venture outside the American Northwest region. But he soon grew the small retail business from 28 stores to more than 400 by the time he was named president of Starbucks Coffee International in 1995. Howard has served on the boards of many public and private companies and nonprofit organizations. He's committed to the development and education of our future leaders. I include myself as a beneficiary. After the successful publication of 2 books, Howard now travels the world speaking to leaders, corporations, and students. His motivational message inspires everyone to lead with their values first. We have a number of tables here tonight who have joined us from Starbucks, and they're doing just that. To this day, he still credits much of his success to the Jewish and Sephardic-based ethics he learned from watching his parents operate their family store all those years ago. Howard, if I can have just a fraction of the impact that you've had on so many, I will consider myself truly blessed. So please join me, everyone, in welcoming Mr. Howard Bihar.
That's too much. You know, I stand here humbled. Okay, yeah, hold it for me. Thank you. So I stand here humbled because the 2 other honorees are like here compared to me. When Ethan called me, I said, "Are you sure you got the right Bihar? Are you trying to get a hold of Ike or Joy?" And he said, "No, I don't need a shirt and I don't want to be on TV." So I said, "Okay, maybe you got the right Bihar." So, you know, it's a pleasure to be here and to speak to you tonight. And before we get going, I always want to remind you there's no free lunches. And tonight is no exception to that. So I'm going to give my Starbucks pitch. So there's lots of consternation, I know, in this community and other Jewish communities around the world about Starbucks and its values and its commitment to humanity. I can stand here and assure you we are totally committed to humanity and we are not anti-Israel. You're looking at a Jewish guy, and the other one was from your neck of the woods, Howard Schultz, raised in Canarsie, another Jewish guy, and we are committed to Jews all around the world. So please don't believe everything that you read in the paper. We are committed to making the world a better place. So what's the meaning of humanitarian? I looked it up in the dictionary. I was trying to see, okay, why did they give me this award? And I found out that it was because of kindness, caring, generosity, support, and the commitment to serving other people and other communities. And I can say this without a doubt, there isn't a person in this room that isn't a humanitarian. We all are humanitarians in one form or another. Big, small, sometimes it's with money, sometimes it's just with time. So I'd like to tell you 2 stories tonight. These are Starbucks stories, but I think they reflect on the values of all human beings. There were about 2 men named Jim. The first Jim was we called Little Jim, and he was a Starbucks store manager in a district in Seattle. And I was there 3 months, and I got a call from Little Jim, and came in as a vice president of operations for the company. And I got a call from Jim, and he said, "Howard, I'd like to come talk to you and Howard Schultz." Well, being an executive, I thought, well, I can handle this. And I said to Jim, "Jim, maybe I can take care of it. Maybe you don't need to see Howard." And he said, "No, I really need to see you and Howard." And So I said, okay, let's meet at this date. And he showed up at the front desk at that particular date. And we walked back to Howard Schultz's office. And Howard was on the phone. And there was this little love seat. And both I and Jim sat next to each other on the love seat while we're waiting for Howard to get off the phone. So Howard got off the phone. And they had known each other because both had been with Starbucks much longer than I had. And so Howard looked at him and said, Jim, how's it going? What's new in your life? And Jim said, well, Howard, I've got something serious to tell you. I have AIDS, and I'm dying of AIDS. Now, this was in the late 80s, long before we knew much about AIDS. And as he's saying that, I'm embarrassed to say it, I kind of slid over just a hair because I'm thinking, is this catchy? Is this a virus? What is this? And then I slid back, fortunately. And Howard just looked at him and said, well, Jim, what can we do for you? And Jim said, well, I'd like to work as long as I can work. Now, remember, we're in a food and beverage business, and we didn't know a lot about it. And Howard just looked at him. He said, Jim, you can work at Starbucks as long as you want to work. And then he asked Jim another question. He says, and what happens when you can't work any longer? How are you going to support yourself? And Jim said, well, there's lots of agencies around town that can help me and give me money to support myself. And Howard looked at him and he said, absolutely not. Now, I remind you that we had 30-some stores at that time. We were losing money. We didn't know sometimes how we were going to make payroll. And Howard just said, we will pay you no matter what. And then he looked at him and he said, how about your health care? How are you going to cover that? And Jim gave kind of the same answer, that there was lots of hospice organizations in the Seattle area that could manage the health care. And Howard said, no, you will be on our health care until the day you die. And that's exactly what happened. What kind of message do you think that sent to me, a young executive at Starbucks, really knew about the values of the organization that I had joined? I thought that I'd joined an organization with good values, but I didn't know the extent of this man named Howard Schultz and what he was really like. And so Jim died and passed away. And the message that's sent throughout the organization, that we would stand behind our people no matter what. And we did that. And for the most part, I'd like to say we have. The second story of a man we call Big Jim. Now, Big Jim was a customer in Santa Monica. He lived across the street from our store in a nursing home. And every day he would come in about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He would order a short drip coffee and a blueberry muffin. Now, by that time of the day, usually we would be out of blueberry muffins, but after a while, all the people in the store knew to save Jim a muffin. So they did, and every day he would come in, and they called him Big Jim because he was an ex-pro football player, and he was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Why, I don't know, but he was. Sorry if you're from Pittsburgh. And so they would joke with him about how they would write a message on the cups and the bags. Every day he'd get this bag with the muffin in it and a cup of coffee, and they'd always write a little message, Jim, we love you, or Jim, the Steelers suck, something to make him happy. Right? So one day, Jim doesn't show up. 2 o'clock passes, 3 o'clock passes, 4 o'clock passes, and one of the baristas says, I'm going to go over across the street and I'm going to take the coffee and the muffin to Jim. So he did. He goes to the front desk, and the person at the front desk, when he asked where Jim was, said, I'm sorry to tell you, but Jim passed away in his sleep last night. So naturally, he was distraught. He goes back to the store, and he tells everybody. And the next day, one of Jim's children come into the store, his daughter, and she said to the store manager, would it be possible for all of you to come to Jim's funeral tomorrow? And the store manager, without blinking, said, absolutely, we will be there. He had to figure out a way to get somebody to relieve all of his staff, but they showed up the next day at the mortuary in the home. As they walked through the front door, there were 3 tables, just like the ones you're sitting at tonight. And what were those tables full of? All the cups and bags that every barista or the store manager wrote these messages on. Jim, we love you. Jim, we care about you. Who would have ever thought that doing something so little would mean so much to another human being? And it's the story that reminds me that all too often we think it's the big things that we do in life that matter. But it's really the little things that we do in life. So being a humanitarian is sometimes it's just a smile. Sometimes it's just getting on the elevator and don't put your head down, but put your head up and say good morning to somebody. Show that you care about them because they're a human being and they have value just because they are a human being. At the end of the day, there's only one reason that any of us are put on this earth. And I'm proud to say it's a core of Judaism, and that is to serve others. Whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a professor, a rabbi, or a barista, there's only one reason any of us exist, and that's to serve others. And so I call on you to think about it, to serve this organization as best you can, but most importantly, to serve the people around you, to care about them and to love them because they're worthy of love just because they're human beings. So thank you all for being great humanitarians. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Just like Starbucks cares about people, so does and considers themselves to be a humanitarian company, so does the American Sephardi Federation. So I'd like to say to all of our Ashkenazic brothers and sisters, if we have not recognized you, we see you. We understand how you're feeling. And we invite you to express your anger and disappointment to our DEI professional, Ethan Marcus, at table 20.
Thank you, Howard, for your words of inspiration. You've served as a role model and mentor to so many. Some of you may be aware, Howard's first idea for a business was to take over every corner in Manhattan and put Sephardic restaurants on them.
That's right. That's right, Mary. He was going to call the business Dólares de Estrella. Anyone get it? Anyone get it? Think about it. Okay. Can you imagine ordering there? Yes, I will have a grande pipino latte, hold the feta, and a venti Turkish coffee with 2 shots of sütlaç. Yeah. I got a good laugh out of that table. Right on.
Sounds delicious. That reminds me, dessert is coming up after we hear from the one and only powerhouse of the American Sephardic Brotherhood, Ethan Marcus.
Woo woo.
Que haber? Todo bueno. Mashallah pu. Okay, where are my Salonicalese at? Where are my Castorialese? Where are my Izmirlese? Where are my Rhodeslese? What about my Monastiles? And of course, the Istanbulis. And on the list goes. I want to first thank you all for really being here tonight. Mashallah, there's over 300 people in this room from around the United States, from Canada, from the United Kingdom, from France, from Turkey, from Greece, from Rhodos, from South Africa. The list goes on. This is truly an international Sephardic community gala, and I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of the incredible team behind that. First and foremost, my incredible gala chair, Lexi Fellis-Brenner, who's been like my right hand in making sure everything gets done on time, making sure everything is on schedule, making sure everyone's having a good time. And a big thank also to the extended Brenner family for coming all the way from Toronto for this wonderful evening. Thank you all so much. And a incredible thank you to the entire Gala committee for making this evening possible. Without them, this truly wouldn't be such a success. I will be brief because I know we are excited to dance. We're excited to enjoy ourselves tonight because this is, after all, a Sephardic gathering. There has to be music. There has to be a little raki, little uzo. But I want to leave you with one quick thought. You heard from some 3 incredible speakers tonight, 3 extraordinary honorees that represent the diversity and the strength, the true strength of our Sephardic community. But you notice one common theme among each of them, and that was community and service. service to one's society, service to one neighborhood, service to one's Jewish and Sephardic community specifically. And I want to charge you all with something tonight. Not just, the donor, the pledge cards, and please give. But I want to charge you all to get involved. Get involved how you can. We are truly trying to build a new Sephardic generation, one that is steeped in the values and traditions of our grandparents and great-grandparents, but still engaged with also all the challenges and the benefits of the modern world. And that takes people. That takes commitment from you, everyone in this room, but also commitment to ensure that you teach your children, you teach your grandchildren, you teach them Ladino, you teach them how to bake borriquitas and bizcochos, you teach them tefillah, you bring them to kahal, you bring them to community gatherings, you bring them to smachot, and you bring them in. You make them love it. You don't force it. You just show the beauty. And I tell you now, I am blessed to say, look around you. There is true beauty in this room. So again, I want to thank you all for being here. Mashallah, what an incredible crowd. What an incredible community that I'm honored to help just be a small part of. Enjoy the evening, enjoy the raki, enjoy the live music. Hazakim ubarachim. Thank you all so much.
Okay, let's hear it for Ethan. Woo! Thanks, everybody, for joining. Please stick around. We're going to hear from Avram Pengas and the Noga group and some Greco dancing.
And this is especially for Ethan. Good Vach and Semanada Buena y Dulce.
All right, it was a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. We're going to take a right now. Right now, for those of you who want to participate in a Seattle picture, we're going to go out to where the bar is and then come back in for dancing. So Seattle picture outside right now.
Two. As we're playing the buzuki now, can you listen to see if it's coming through? Can you see if the buzuki are coming through? You want me to go out there? What? If not, have them, bring it up. Nico, give us some effects, please. A bit of effects.